Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated Thursday session with the great Jimmy Harte, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Kevin?
Oh, Jimmy, I mean, it's, every day missing you, you say, hey, we had some great guests, man, but
I'm loving the starting 11. It's right up the top of my speed dial. Can't wait. I thought Ryan Helfrich just knocked it out of the park on Monday.
Wow. I mean, he set the standard for all professional teams in the local area where the Champions League is at. They're one and the same, man.
Sure he did.
Well,
sure he did.
And one of the reasons why, because they played with the select ball. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, they play with the select ball as well as
they do.
The National High School Champions League. Holy moly. And
it's like brothers.
Yeah. And then they got the college planning, Nagel College Planning down there to help the men. And then they have Eddie O with Google.com. He's powering the platform. Coolidge. I got it. What did I say? I don't know.
Google, but that's okay. It was close. You had a double O in there and some L's, some G's. We're good. Hey, it's like a rearranged game. QOOLLEGE.com. What a great show Eddie had yesterday, by the way.
Oh, man, by the way, yeah.
Talk about useful information.
Yep.
Talk about if I was a parent, I was listening to that show and I'm thinking, if I was a parent of a teenager, I'd be like, wait a minute, am I doing this stuff? This is important stuff here.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Jimmy DeNoble, are you kidding me?
Oh,
amazing.
Man, yeah.
So great job, Kevin.
Thanks, man. And so I'm on the men a little bit. The wrist is hurting, throbbing, aching. Oh, man, it's so... I shook hands with the old Dick the Bruiser. I mean...
I remember Dick the Bruiser.
Yeah, I know.
And his cousin, the Crusher.
Oh, wow. I never knew he had a cousin. Wow.
The Bruiser and the Crusher.
Oh.
They were a tag team. When I was growing up, I used to watch them. The Bruiser and the Crusher. You know what they used to say about Dick the Bruiser? He used to go on his training runs up in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, start with a keg on his shoulder full, and come back with the keg empty while he was on his training run. That's what they used to say about Dick the Bruiser.
And that's what Dick the Bruiser looked like somebody that would do that.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well,
yes.
Here we go. So I think we're going to make the 11 minutes now because I'm here just letting you go, bro. And,
okay, good enough. I got it.
All right, there you go.
Well, we've been talking, as you know, Kevin, we've been talking about an idea for one of these starting 11 shows, and that is throwing some light on some of the many people throughout the country that have helped this movement. And so we've begun to try to make a list. The list is not complete, it's not comprehensive, but it's an attempt to give recognition to some people that in one small way or another have helped the movement. There's over 100 people on this list. So today, I'd like to work through some of the people that are kind of outliers, people that might not be as well known for their help with the movement as the likes of yourself or Dave Wilson or Terry Mickler or Perry Vanderbeck, but people whose nevertheless, as you so well put it, every single person that helps in some small way has helped the movement. And the movement wouldn't be what it is without everybody's help. So I'd like to throw some light on some of those people. So I'm going to go through a list of 25 names. So my 5 stories will be 5 echelons of names, 5 names at a time. And I'd just like to give some recognition to some of these people. Is that okay?
Pardon why I stand up and applaud.
So let's go. So first, let's start with this. I've got five names here. Chris Lawson in Kansas City. We know that Chris is a high school coach in Kansas City, working to improve or bring the high school Champions League movement to Kansas City. And we'll might as well throw in with Chris the name Matt Pritchett, because these are two high school coaches that we've been in communication with for about 3 years now, continuing to bring this movement there. So Chris Lawson, Brooklyn FC, Jamie Terrell. Jamie Terrell is the sponsorship coordinator for Brooklyn FC. Kevin Wong out of Washington State. He is the owner of footballerplus.com, a potential sponsor of ours. Neil Moggan out of the UK. He was a guest on one of our national Zoom calls, and True Manufacturing, a previous sponsor of the St. Louis Champions League. So there's 5 names that if you said to people, well, who are some of the people? I bet nobody would come up with those names. And yet these people have been influential. Kevin Wong and Neil Moggan have both been guests on our national Zoom calls. So let's go to the next echelon. So Sammy Anim Ado. Sammy lives in Accra, Ghana. He's been a guest twice on our national Zoom calls. And we're working with Sammy. Sammy would like the High School Champions League to come to Ghana, and he would like for what he calls a dream team of some of the finest high school players in Ghana to make a trip to play in the Tampa Bay Champions League. It's kind of an out there dream, but we're working on it. But Sammy is certainly somebody that's contributed to our movement. Sports Print, another sponsor out of St. Louis. They've provided quarter zip pullovers for the winners in St. Louis. Patrick Dominique, a girls coach down here in Tampa at Sickles High School, spent a lot of time helping the Facebook page of the Champions League down here. The great Dave Lang, the writer and historian from St. Louis, who has also been a presenter and a guest on our Zoom calls. And Rachel Jolly. Rachel is with the Tampa Bay Sun professional women's team, the Tampa Bay Sun Foundation. She's been a big supporter of ours. And the Champions League looks like the girls' semifinals will be played at the Tampa Bay Sun Stadium next year. And Rachel has a lot to do with that. So there's another list of 5 names. People who deserve recognition but would never get it unless we proactively called out their names. So the next echelon, here we go. This will be a name you might know. Kevin, Mike Hayes, Creve Coeur Soccer Facility Manager.
Wow.
He's the one that made that happen with Greg Keller, the work that was done with Creve Coeur. Also, Mark Dorsey, 55 AM KTRS radio personality, who's had Greg Keller on the radio talking about the Champions League a number of times. Robert Wilson, a guest of yours and Terry's on the Wales Certified Podcast, the author of the Football Manifesto book and the upcoming book, the Football Manifesto 2. And he was born in St. Louis, and he lives in Brazil right now. A big name. He'll be a bigger name in American soccer once his league that he's proposing gets off the ground. He would not, of course, have us call it soccer. He'd have us call it football, because he doesn't believe in that word soccer. But that's a conversation for another day. The great Jim Leaker, the St. Louis Hall of Fame founder, really, and proprietor. I don't know, it wasn't the founder because it's been going on for a long time, but he's in charge of those Green Jackets. You can speak on Jim Leaker. I know he's a friend of yours. And the great Craig Fawcett, who is a former Tampa Bay Rowdies player, who's been part of our Champions League draw down here in Tampa Bay a few times. You got anything to say about those names? Mike Hayes, Mark Dorsey, Robert Wilson, Jim Leaker.
I got nothing but the highest accolades that comes from the whale, but I'm unable to muster the fortitude to say anything without aching. Oh, see, I couldn't do it. Oh my God. All right.
That's all right.
All
The
right.
highest accolades is good. Let's go to our next echelon. This will be our fourth story for today. These five names. So let's start with George and Danielle Fotopoulos. So George Fotopoulos and Danielle are both high school coaches down here in Tampa. Danielle played on the 1999 Women's World Cup team, and she coaches the boys team at Sun Lake High School, which just won the state championship down here, and they're an annual participant in the Champions League. And her husband George is an assistant coach at Jesuit High School, a three times Champions League winner, and also George was a guest on our Champions League Zoom calls, talking all about his time and his upbringing as a youth coach in Tampa Bay, helping develop some of the finest players that have gone on to national team success. So the Fotopoulos is for sure. Then there's Bob Putnam. He is the proprietor of Primetime Sports. It is sort of a high school sports media enclave here in Tampa Bay. They cover all of high school sports, but they've given great coverage to the Champions League. Bob has. Bob was a 25-year veteran of St. Petersburg Times, and then he left the Times to start Primetime Sports. That's what he does full time. Great guy, gets the word out for us. Then there's Kieran Toner. Kieran is a coach born in Northern Ireland. He works right now in the nation of Georgia from the former Soviet Union. He works for FIFA. He's a former sponsor of the Champions League when he was the proprietor of a company that did the kind of business that, let's say, almost like the business that Coolidge and Ziggy do. Not quite the same as placing in college, but they have to do with promoting kids' careers. And they supported the Champions League for a year there. But Kieran gives us that international flavor, being connected with FIFA. We might even get Kieran as a guest on the Whale Certified podcast one day. That's something I got to put down on the list. I hadn't thought about that before. Then, of course, there's Atletico Dallas. Atletico Dallas and two people in particular, Brian Corcoran and Mike McAlone. Mike McAlone and Brian Corcoran, these guys we were put onto by the great Tim McAvoy. These are guys that are in the front office of this team, Atletico Dallas, which is going to be an expansion franchise in the USL Championship in 2027, and they want to bring the Champions League to the Dallas Metroplex, and we're working with those two guys on that. Hopefully that'll be something that we see soon. And then somebody influential in the St. Louis area, a new referee assigner, Tim Fleming, who has gone a long way to helping Greg and the guys on the St. Louis board get the referee assignments all sorted out. So we thank him for that. And then let's finish with five more names for today, and then we'll move on. And we'll come back and keep working on this list at various times in the future, all the way up to and including everybody that's helped with the Champions League. So these last five names. There's an athletic director. He is the athletic director at Visitation Academy. He was the AD contact for the Girls Champions League. His name is Paul Stokeland, and we want to thank him for his involvement. Then there's Mike Idland. Mike is a college coach in New York at State University of New York, Brockport. He coaches the women's team there. And Mike has put us in contact with high school coaches in the Rochester, New York area that we are working with to try to bring the Champions League to New York State. They're not the only place in New York State we're trying to get to. We're also trying to get into New York City. So Mike has been helpful with that. This name I know is somebody that you know and are fond of, Kevin. That's the great Eric Delabar, who is the host of the Girls Champions League final out there at Maryville University. One of the great ones. I used to watch him when I was in college at Quincy, playing for the great teams of Jack McKenzie, and watching his career develop as a head coach and all of the things he does in St. Louis. That's great. And we're grateful to him. And then another person who's Whale certified, Greg Winkler. You've had Greg on the show before, haven't you, Kevin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He runs the high school soccer newsletter for the United Soccer Coaches. Former high school coach from down here in Florida. He's also coached in other parts of the country. He's written a couple of books, and he's been a big supporter of the Champions League. And finally, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Kevin Sims, former past president of United Soccer Coaches. He works for Charlotte FC in MLS, helping to bring the Champions League to Charlotte and to North and South Carolina. So, Kevin, I'm going to stop it right there. And that gives us a good, I think I went through 25 names of people that if people didn't know it, they would never know that these people are helping the Champions League. But it kind of gives an idea of the breadth and depth of the people that are signing on to this movement. We're everywhere in the country. We're also overseas. People don't really know about us, but they're going to find out. And more and more people are finding out all the time. And I'm really eager to continue this list at a future show with you, Kevin, doing 5 more at a time and maybe knocking off another 25 names, because there's a lot more names on here worth talking about. Hopefully when you feel better, you'll be able to weigh in on some of these names. Kevin, we're saying our prayers for you, and we're hoping for the best for you, Kevin.
All right, all right. And I mean to tell you, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, I'm going to be like a Don Rickles hosting with these guys. So anyway.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. They're the best of the best in the St. Louis area. And those those international and national people, each of them has that uniqueness that it really made the movement go. So, Jimmy,
Yes,
without
sir.
further ado, you know that this has been the United States National High School Champions League starting 11 or thereabouts with Jim Harte and Kevin Whalen, ladies and gentlemen. So long,
And
Jim.
tune in tomorrow for Terry Mickler. Can't wait. All the best, Kevin.
All right, Jimmy. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.